Let's start off with Keir Starmer. So I said last week.
Who's that? Yesterday's man. Wait a minute, can I just say that we've got a problem? Because when this goes out, it'll be on like the back benches. This is literally the beginning of the end for Keir Starmer. And the reason why is at the heart of this is an incompetent, dishonest man who it turns out has no ethics either. For him to be in number 10 now, it's like a stay of execution. It's when, not if, he goes. The guy's in hot water. He's got no ideas. He's got no beliefs, for better or worse. In government, the Starmer project has been a horrible disaster.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Expresso. I'm JJ Anisiobi, and as ever, I'm joined by the Royal Executioner, the Executioner of Excellence, Mark Dolan. How you doing?
I'm so very well, and I'll tell you that I don't need to be the Royal Executioner anymore because they're executing themselves, especially Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, who should be in jail, but obviously we'll come to that.
Oh, we will get to that. Let's start off with Keir Starmer. So I said last week.
Who's that? Yesterday's man. Wait a minute, can I just say that we've got a problem? Because when this goes out, it'll be on like the back benches, won't he?
Yeah.
Licking his. Angela Rayner will be running the country, right? There'll be a run on the pound.
I don't think he's going to go yet. I said last week Morgan McSweeney's got to go.
Yeah,
and McSweeney's gone. This morning, the Director of Communications, Tim Allen, has also been given the boot.
Yep.
Well, he resigned. Whatever, he's gone. Is this enough to save Starmer?
Of course not. This is literally the beginning of the end for Keir Starmer. And the reason why is at the heart of this is an incompetent, dishonest man who it turns out has no ethics either. It's abundantly clear that he knew that Peter Mandelson was more than just a passing acquaintance of Jeffrey Epstein. They were besties. And what's very interesting, there is a time bomb waiting to explode, JJ, and it's when the Cabinet Office release the full details of what Starmer knew about Mandelson, every syllable of it, once the police have spoken to Mandelson and done a full interview. So basically, there is going to be a smoking gun, at which point Starmer's position becomes untenable. So for him to be in number 10 now, it's like a stay of execution. It's when, not if, he goes. The guy's in hot water. And therefore, if you're telling me that sacking those people at number 10 within the operation that the public haven't heard of, if you think that saves his bacon, if you think that viewers of the Daily Expresso are going to give two figs that someone called Morgan McSweeney, which sounds like a brand of sausage, has left. If you think that you know our viewers down the pub tonight are going to go, oh, at least Morgan McSweeney's gone and the head of communication. No, speaking of head, right? The fish rots from the head and it goes from Starmer down. So all this does really is buy him a few days. The big problem you've got, as you know, JJ, Starmer's got no philosophy. He's got no ideas. He's got no beliefs. He doesn't think anything. Morgan McSweeney was his brain. Morgan McSweeney was the architect of the Starmer project, for better or worse. In government, the Starmer project has been a horrible disaster. But to be fair to McSweeney, he and Starmer together rehabilitated the image of the Labour Party, made the party electable, and McSweeney got Starmer into number 10. Starmer, he hasn't had an original thought in his life. And so in the absence of McSweeney, it maybe takes a little bit of heat off him politically from his backbenchers because they don't like McSweeney because he's not left-wing enough. But what he's going to be now is rudderless. You got to think of Starmer as actually Morgan McSweeney's ventriloquist dummy, right? Conducting all the action, right? McSweeney is Keith Harris to Starmer's Orville. And now Starmer hasn't got anyone's hand up his backside. And I have to tell you that we're gonna see that in the days ahead. He doesn't have any political navigation whatsoever, Starmer. It was so different for the likes of Margaret Thatcher. And to be fair, not his biggest fan, but Blair as well. Both of those people, interestingly, each of them won 3 elections, had a plan for government, had ideas. Now, Blair's were horrible ideas, but there was an idea nonetheless. So you've got a prime minister that's also lost his bestie. The moral support, Morgan McSweeney was gunning for the boss. He's got no protection now, and it's the beginning of the end.
But he's going to meet, by here I mean Starmer, he's going to meet with some MPs tonight, apparently. He's going to try and get everyone to come out and go to bat for him. If he can, if he gets like Shabana Mahmood and Wes Streeting to say, okay, boss, we're going to stick up for you, we're going to do the media rounds, I think we could have him for another 3-4 months until the next scandal comes out.
Well, you're right about the timeline, because why would you, as a prospective new leader, want to be in post when this Gorton and Denton by-election is inevitably lost, potentially to reform, which is going to be wild. And we're going to come to that, by the way, because I think there's one winner, and it's Nigel Paul Farage from all of this. But you don't want to be the leader of the Labour Party and the Prime Minister for that loss to happen. And you certainly don't want to be around for the drubbing at the May local elections. So absolutely, the smart money is on a replacement coming in late summer. But it's very clear from what I'm hearing from Westminster insiders that they are, all of them, canvassing hard now for the top job. Streeting, Rayner, Miliband, may God help us. Good Lord. And a few other dark horse figures as well who are lesser known to the public. So Starmer is in an interesting position. You know, I'm 50-50 on what's going to happen, because on the one hand, he's very, very stubborn and he's preoccupied with power. This is why Starmer's had an issue, is that his focus prior to the election was becoming PM. There was no plan. And we've seen that borne out through 15 U-turns so far. Yeah. And there'll be more to come. So on the one hand, the logic would be, JJ, that he's stubborn and he just wants to be Prime Minister, and he'll try to stay PM for as long as possible, which takes us to the summer of this year. And he thinks to himself, all right, well, that would be 2 years, 2 calendar years. So it's not a Liz Truss situation. We've not got dead letters here, and he can get out. But there's a chance that he will look at the fact that his departure is inevitable and decide to own that timeline, and he could resign in the coming days. It's not impossible. And the reason why, the guy is so, in my view, narcissistic, he's so conscious of his own public image that he might like to think, well, what I'll do is, in the national interest, I'll step down and then I get to be the good guy again. Which that's his entire self-image, is I'm one of the good guys. So we'll have to see. So you can't rule out, it's highly unlikely, but he could just throw the towel in, at which point we've got the biggest crisis politically ever. But change is coming. And of course, the great debate is, you know, when he goes, who replaces him, and will they be worse?
I genuinely don't think there's anyone who's going to be better than Starmer from the Labour Party. I think they are a party full of duds now. Rayner may be a good shout, but she's still being investigated. She's still got issues with HMRC. We can't have a Prime Minister who got sacked because she hadn't paid the right amount of tax or bills, whatever it is. You know, so who's left? It ain't going to be Lammy. No one wants him. Miliband, that's a guaranteed loss for Labour.
Well, you're so right. And you know, it doesn't matter how well this meeting goes with the Parliamentary Labour Party tonight, even if they pretend to have his back, because very publicly now, you mentioned Lammy, he's already broken ranks, thrown his boss under the bus, saying, I advised against employing Mandelson as the UK ambassador to the United States. The problem you've got is that the backbenchers are left-wing. They couldn't even accept modest changes to our welfare spending in relation to disability benefits, push back on that, which makes that rabble ungovernable, and they're definitely left-wing. And then the party membership, I mean, they are just, this is out-and-out socialists, you know. Yeah. Half of them quite like the look of the Green Party. So there's no way that a decent minister like Shabana Mahmood, who I think is not a bad Home Secretary. Of course, it's not nearly enough what she's doing to stop the boats, but it's a step in the right direction. Where Streeting, too right-wing, and also, let's not forget, Mandelson's protege, Mandelson's bestie. I mean, old Streeting's had no sleep in the last 24 hours, deleting pictures of him cuddling Peter Mandelson, eating candy floss together, having cocktails at all bar one. Alton Towers on the Big Dipper. I mean, those two, they are cheek by jowl, Dumb and Dumber. So he's probably got no chance. So it's you know, the front runners, Big Ange, the ginger growler herself, and then of course Miliband. So it's hard to know, because if Miliband gets it, well, he'll double down on net zero. He'll be Britain's first net zero prime minister, at which point we can all literally just leave the country. Yeah. Maybe ironically on small boats, because maybe we've kept a few of those boats from the migrants. They can stay. It can be a land of socialists, illegals, and net zero zealots, right? And the rest of us, let's go to like Florida. But yeah, so that's what will happen with Miliband, is that he'll take the country to the left. And then you've got Rayner, who, by the way, doesn't even have O-levels. Now, I'm not saying that her life story is not an impressive one. It is. But she's not arguably very qualified to be prime minister. It's a complex, high-level job.
Well, Major never went to university.
Yeah, and he was rubbish as well.
He
failed a job interview to be a bus conductor.
Yeah.
So, they dodged a bullet, didn't they? So, yeah, that's it. I mean, for our viewers, be afraid, be very afraid. And it's so difficult, isn't it? That's the other thing, by the way, about McSweeney. Although a lot of the public don't know who the guy is, he was important because he was a gatekeeper to the left. He was keeping the lefties out of government.
Yeah.
And isn't it ironic now? Because Mandelson's the same, right? Mandelson was from the centre ground. And Mandelson's legacy, because of this scandal, will be that the Labour Party is once again taken over by the left wing. And we will have 3 years. Just imagine this for a moment, JJ. We will have 3 years of a very, very left-wing government with supportive backbenchers and a majority of over 140 MPs.
Yeah.
So just imagine what they can get through. What Angela Rayner doubles down on her war on business. Ed Miliband doubles down on net zero, workers' rights. What about the boats? Do you think the boats are going to stop under Angela Rayner or Ed Miliband?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But Mandelson, his claws, his tentacles have gotten everywhere. Now, William and Kate, I think they've done the right thing here, William and Kate. They put out a statement. A spokesperson for the palace put out a statement saying, I can confirm the prince and princess have been deeply concerned by the continuing revelations. Their thoughts remain focused on the victims. The right thing to do, get ahead of it. They have done nothing wrong.
100%.
But they are completely putting a message out to the world to say, our wayward uncle, we do not condone him. We are not defending him.
Well, absolutely right. And this has got William's fingerprints all over it. It's my understanding that William hates his uncle.
Really?
His contempt for his uncle is unparalleled. And William is an interesting guy. He's a very bright man and he's a deeply ethical man. He feels a great burden on his shoulders that he's going to be king. And of course, he was born with that responsibility. So he never carried it lightly. And he's so angry at what his uncle has done to the family. And he's got contempt for his uncle, which, by the way, I think is probably the worst emotion you can have to a human being is contempt, isn't it? Hate is almost too good for them.
Yeah.
That means that you're getting worked up. But contempt, that's where William's at. We saw that, didn't we, last year at the funeral of, I believe it was the Duchess of Kent. And Andrew tried to muscle in with William when they left the church, for the photo op. And he did that thing where he pretended he was talking to William and like laughing and cracking jokes. William completely blanked him.
Yes.
And William knew exactly what Andrew was up to. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to rehabilitate yourself. You're trying to ride my coattails. I'm the next king. By the way, what a flawless image William has. Can you think of the last time that William put his foot in it? Said something stupid, did something stupid. This is a guy that's, nursed his wife through cancer, also his father, taken on more responsibilities, become Donald Trump's best friend, which has been excellent for the special relationship.
Been a great ambassador for this country.
That's it. So he's, in some ways, he is the king-elect. He's the king in waiting, and he's sort of behaving like that. And you can see that with his approach to Andrew. So we've got this very gentle slap on the wrist from this statement, Kensington Palace. And it's understated because that's how the royals do it, right? Revenge, dish best served cold. It's kind of up there with, recollections may vary.
Yeah.
And they've used very toned, controlled language to say we're very concerned about the victims. But underneath that is a Prince of Wales that's boiling with rage, thinks his uncle is an idiot and a disgrace and doesn't like him. And God knows what Catherine thinks of her uncle. But I would have thought she gives him, like the creepy uncle on Christmas Day, following around with the mistletoe. Thanks, but no thanks. So, so I think, and what's very interesting, JJ, is that when the king passes, which of course we all hope is a long, long time from now, because he's a decent king, notwithstanding the challenges he faces. But when he passes, I think you'll see a different treatment of not just Harry and Meghan, but Andrew as well. And I think Andrew can dread the day that William becomes king.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it gets worse for Andrew because it now appears he may have knowingly shared confidential information with Epstein when Andrew was trade envoy. So he passed on reports of investment opportunities in certain countries to Epstein. If it's proven to be true, Andrew should be in jail.
He's got to go to prison if that's the crime. It's very, very clear that if you are the government's official trade envoy, then you are actually in high office. And this would therefore be a criminal investigation because it's malpractice in high office. It's a crime. And it doesn't matter if you're Andrew. Let's not forget, he's not a prince anymore. He's not HRH. He's not the Duke of York. He's got no immunity, no protection. Andrew might have to be in jail for what's happened with some of these young women that have been allegedly linked to him. He's not out of the woods on that side of it, right? The sleaze side, the salacious element of it.
Yeah.
But there's also a national security element. As we mentioned in last week's show, Epstein linked to the Kremlin. Does that make Andrew Vladimir Putin's useful idiot? Well, again, that is a potentially criminal offense. That's national security. The authorities don't mess around with that one. And he has these bilaterals with countries in the Far East, including Vietnam, Singapore, and others. Confidential information, market sensitive, commercially sensitive, national security sensitive. And the allegations are that the minutes of his meetings with these leaders in the East were emailed to him. He's then reportedly forwarded those emails to Epstein.
Within minutes?
5 minutes, right? With a clear message. Here's some more material for you, boss. Is how it looks.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Andrew will deny any of these allegations, and he deserves to be innocent till proven guilty. But my goodness, that could turn out to be a smoking gun. So you've got everything. You've got the sex. You've got the young women. I mean, let's not forget the other thing, because we can't keep up with all the stories, can we? Every day there's another one. And you've got allegations. This caught my eye over the weekend when I was doing the Talk TV show, which is that Epstein visited Buckingham Palace with 4 young women whilst Queen Elizabeth was in Balmoral. Obviously, when the cat's away, the mice will play. But that was the first time that I'd seen evidence that Epstein was on a royal property. I mean, setting aside these young women who were described in an email as very cute. I've got these girls coming. One of them's a very cute Romanian girl, a model, whatever that means.
Yeah.
And but for Epstein, just the idea, JJ, that he was on royal property, and not just any royal property, the very focal point of our monarchy, the Buckingham Palace. The idea that he sat there with a napkin tucked under his collar, eating foie gras and God knows, sipping Prosecco, it's shocking.
But is the Queen, the late Queen, I don't want to say she's to blame, but what we've been told is that she was aware of some of Andrew's habits and some of his visitors, and she turned a blind eye to it. And in some cases, she actually protected him and would, if somebody complained, she would have those people removed and put into a station somewhere else. Officers, personal protection officers, would be punished essentially for saying, this is what Andrew's up to, this isn't okay. So the Queen knew about it, and Andrew seems to have been her favourite. You know, that was her baby boy. And she seems to have, defended him throughout all of this.
Well, if you've got kids, and I know you've got a lovely, fabulous little boy who's just as handsome as his old man, right? There's 2 things, and I've got 2 lads as well, 2 boys, and they're in, older now, and my work is done. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I'm actually waiting for them to start looking after me.
Yeah.
And for maybe a check to arrive on a monthly basis. But anyway, but one thing you do when you've got 2 kids, or when you've got kids, is the 2 things you don't do. You don't. You got to make sure you love them and you don't spoil them. And I'm afraid, and I'm reluctant to criticise Queen Elizabeth because she is one of the truly great Britons of all time.
Of course.
But she got it wrong with Andrew, and he was spoiled. And it's no accident that the book that brought him down, entitled, it's got that word, entitled. He was growing up. Why was he entitled? Because his mother doted on him, spoiled rotten. She was very busy being queen when Charles was born, and she didn't have time to dote on her eldest son. So when Andrew came along, she spent more time at home. And it often happens when you have kids. You know, more than one child. You're like, next time you're like, you know what? I neglected the first one.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it right. So anyway, she overcompensated the other way. She overcorrected, and she doted on him, and therefore he grew up a man that felt he was owed something, a man that thought he was special, having done nothing, and a man that was full of himself. It didn't help that he was one of the slightly more handsome members of the family, so he was quite photogenic, and it was not difficult for him to get girls at the best of times. Add to that the power and the money and the fame, and so the Queen should have kept him in check, and she didn't. She spoiled him rotten. And let's not forget that Elizabeth asked for no changes in behaviour or protocol after she writes a cheque for £12 million to clear his name. Now, you would think if you're writing a cheque of that size, you would have a sit down with the boy and say, all right, well, I'm going to do this. But at this point now, you know, I'm going to keep you on a tight leash. That didn't happen. He lost HRH, but more should have happened. I also would be critical of Charles as well, because I think Charles has been slow to act on this one. And I know that he couldn't have stripped Andrew of his titles whilst the Queen was still around. But when she passed, there should have been a timeline to exit this man from the royal project. That opportunity was not taken. Is it not enough that your mother's had to write a cheque for 12 million because of quite the most serious allegations in relation to Virginia Giuffre? Is that not enough to rethink the dukedom and the prince title? And more evidence came through. So I'm afraid to say, to a degree, the Queen and then Charles asleep at the wheel. But the royals are a bit like that. They can be a bit slow to move. They're so caught up in procedure and tradition. We saw that when Diana passed and the Queen wouldn't lower the flag, and it was like completely unnecessary drama that engulfed the palace. And they've been slow, and they're paying the price.
Well, before we continue, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, like it and subscribe, and also swipe across, hit that hype button. It helps get more people to see our video, and also you get to have exclusives like this. This is an exclusive right now. I've been told...
Can I just say that whenever you pop up on my phone, I always swipe. I swipe right.
This is an exclusive I'm going to tell you now. I've been told the royal family know that there's more stuff coming about Andrew. They are well aware of it, and they are doing everything they can to distance themselves from him, which is part of the reason why Charles has removed so many of Andrew's staff. Now, these people have been paid off handsomely. Andrew used to have something like 30 staff and 12 people working in his communications department. Don't know why he needs that many. Now he's going to be going down to 3 staff. So the people who they've gotten rid of have been paid off handsomely. Really nice redundancy packages for all of them. 3 people have been kept on. Andrew's going to have the embarrassment of now having to collect his own shopping from the front door. He's going to have to replace the toilet rolls himself in the bathroom.
Oh, no.
There's no staff for that anymore. This is his new life, and I think it's going to break him.
I think it will, because he's all about his status. It's all about the pomp. And reportedly, he still required people to call him Your Royal Highness, even though he'd lost HRH within, on royal property. Can't verify that, but given my royal contacts, it wouldn't be out of character, because the guy is considered arrogance personified. And what's interesting is, in spite of all this scandal, where's the contrition? Where's his statement saying, I'm worried for the victims and I'm sorry for these headlines? And, where is his humility? These stories are breaking, and he's driving around the Windsor estate in a Range Rover smiling at people. And this is just days ago. After the latest revelations and after the All Fours image, All Fours gate. So, and apparently some of the press suggested that was the last straw for Charles when he saw those photos emerging of Andrew. The guy won't learn. He's impervious to self-reflection. And I think that's because of essentially such supreme arrogance, such extraordinary narcissism that he can't self-reflect. And that's why he's a danger and a liability. So Charles will be hoping now, as you say, have him on the Sandringham estate with a staff of 3 and hope that the problem goes away. He's going to get bored. He's going to get quite depressed. The danger for Charles is that he still has, Andrew, a few potential weapons up his sleeve. And one would be a tell-all interview. Another would be a book. And it can't be ruled out. So Charles is between a rock and a hard place. Now, Andrew Lowney told me on my Talk TV show, the author of Entitled, which was the beginning of the end for Andrew, he said, look, there's no way Charles can accommodate him at the Sandringham estate now. It's impossible. Well, so far, He's going to Sandringham. And I think the reason why Andrew Lowney is wrong on that, and it's difficult to disagree with a man that knows that much about Andrew, but if Charles turfs Andrew out, then Andrew seeks revenge. Andrew needs to have skin in the game to protect the royal family. What would that skin be? Marsh Farm, the royal protection, and at least access to a few of the creature comforts free of charge. So I think Charles is going to soak up a lot more negative headlines in order to keep his brother under the thumb and, within touching distance, so we can keep an eye on him. Because can you imagine Andrew in Dubai or the United States or Singapore or?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an accident waiting to happen, surely.
Yeah, that is. Well, as I say, we can expect more pictures and more emails to be leaked between Epstein and Andrew. Mark Dolan, thank you very much.
Thank you, JJ.
What a show. What a show. Like, subscribe, and leave your comments below. Let us know exactly what you think about McSweeney, Starmer. Is this good news for Farage? And, of course, Andrew. Bye-bye for now.